Let me tell you something about the Vel'Korum Arena. It is not a place where heroes are born. It is a place where fools come to die, and the rest of us sit in cushioned seats, eating roasted grubs, watching it happen. I am Voru, senior correspondent for the Creathian Broadcasting Network. I have covered 412 arena events in my lifetime. I have seen champions reduced to vapor. I have watched entire species humiliated on live broadcast. Nothing surprises me anymore. And then the human walked in. His name, bellowed across the stadium by the announcer Thurax with barely restrained amusement, was Dex Harrow. A human from a planet called Earth. A planet so small, so astronomically unremarkable, that our stellar cartographers marked it with a symbol that roughly translates to not worth the fuel. The crowd of 80,000 beings erupted, not in cheers, in laughter. I will be honest. I laughed too. Dex Harrow stood at the entrance gate, blinking beneath the stadium lights like a newborn Quan pup that had wandered into a reactor chamber. He was wearing fabric, woven fabric, no armor plating, no bioshield emitters, no ceremonial battle graphs, just fabric and boots, and a face that looked entirely too calm for someone about to fight Growlick. Yes, Growlick. Growlick deserves explanation. Growlick of the Vel'Korum bloodline stood at the center of the arena floor, and the ground physically vibrated when he shifted his weight. 7 feet, 4 inches of engineered destruction. The Vel'Korum had been selectively bred for arena combat for over 900 years. His arms were wider than the human's entire torso, and in his right hand, he carried the throne splitter, a weapon so absurdly oversized that it possessed measurable gravitational influence. That is not exaggeration. It has been scientifically documented. The throne splitter weighed 460 kilograms, forged from collapsed star iron. It had ended 31 careers and lives over the past 6 years. Growlick did not win fights with it. He won by carrying it. Most challengers could not lift it off the ground. Thurax leaned into his broadcast crystal. Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of unclassified designation, tonight's challenger, representing the unranked, unsponsored, and frankly unbelievable planet of Earth. Dex Harrow. The laughter intensified. I watched Dex walk toward the center of the arena. He did not rush. He did not posture. He did not perform any of the ritual dominance displays common among competitive species. He simply walked, hands in his pockets, looking around the stadium the way a tourist evaluates moderately interesting architecture. Growlick regarded him the way a predator regards something it is almost too embarrassed to kill. Small one. Growlick's amplified voice rolled across the arena like thunder. I will grant you one courtesy. State your preferred method of ending, and I will attempt to honor it. Dex tilted his head, squinted slightly, then said completely serious, Do you lift? Like actually train? Or is it mostly genetics doing the heavy lifting? Silence. Absolute silence. 80,000 beings stopped laughing in perfect unison. Growlick blinked. In 412 events, I had never seen Growlick blink from confusion. What? Growlick asked. The weapon, Dex said, nodding toward the throne splitter. Can I see it? Before we start, I leaned forward in my broadcast seat. My co-commentator, Civ of the Philandry delegation, grabbed my arm. No one in 900 years of arena history had ever asked to hold the throne splitter. Growlick, whether from arrogance, disbelief, or sheer amusement, set it down. Dex Harrow walked toward it. He crouched beside the weapon, examined it carefully, wrapped both hands around the grip. Then, he stood, and the throne splitter rose with him. The silence changed. It shifted texture. It thickened. It became something the Vel'Korum Arena had never hosted before. Fear. Growlick took one step back, and Dex Harrow smiled. I have been doing this job for a long time. I have sat in this broadcast seat through wars, through massacres, through events so gruesome that the network had to issue formal apologies to 17 different planetary governments. I have never, not once, put down my broadcast crystal mid-event. I put it down. I just stared. Because Dex Harrow was not just holding the throne splitter. He was holding it with one hand. His right hand. His left hand rested at his side, relaxed, fingers loose like someone who just picked up a slightly heavy grocery bag and was deciding whether it was even worth switching hands. Civ, my co-commentator, made a sound beside me. I did not have a word in Creethian for that sound. It was somewhere between a gasp and a prayer. Growlick had not moved. That was the part that sent the cold through my spine fluid. Growlick, the Vel'Korum champion, the creature who had once headbutted a reinforced arena gate and cracked it clean down the middle, was standing completely still. His eyes were locked on the weapon in the human's hand. His breathing had changed. I could see it clearly on the broadcast feed. Short, controlled. The breathing of a being doing the math in his head and not liking the numbers. Dex said, rotating the throne splitter slightly, studying the blade the way a merchant inspects fruit at a market stall. The balance is off. You keep the weight too far forward. That's why you swing wide on the left side. I watched your last 3 fights on the transit ride here. Growlick made a low sound in his chest. A growl. The kind that usually precedes the moment when things in the arena stop being a sport and start becoming a disaster. You watch my fights, Growlick said slowly, on the way here. Long transit, Dex replied. Your footwork's predictable too, but the weapon does most of the work for you, so I understand why you never bothered fixing it. I looked at Thurax across the booth. Thurax, who had been announcing arena events longer than I had been covering them, who possessed the composure of a being carved from stone, was gripping the edge of his desk with both hands and mouthing words I am fairly certain were not fit for broadcast. The crowd had shifted from laughter to silence to something I can only describe as collective existential confusion. 80,000 beings sat frozen in their seats, snacks halfway to their mouths, not eating, because eating felt inappropriate for whatever this was becoming. Growlick charged. Of course he charged. What else was he going to do? Stand there and accept a technical critique from a human? He covered the distance in 2 seconds. 2 seconds of pure, focused, 900-year-bred destruction closing in at full speed. Dex stepped sideways. Not backward. Sideways. A single, unhurried step to the left. Pivoting on his back foot. Rotating his body. Letting 460 kilograms of Vel'Korum champion rush past him like a wave breaking around stone. The throne splitter moved in a clean, controlled arc. Not striking, just redirecting the momentum of Growlick's charge with the flat of the blade. Growlick stumbled. A champion who had not stumbled in 6 years of competition stumbled. He caught himself. Turned. Breathing hard now. Dex wasn't. Here's the thing, Dex said, settling the throne splitter across his shoulders behind his neck, both arms draped over it casually, the way a farmer rests a tool after a morning's work. On my planet, we don't have Vel'Korum genetics. We don't have 900 years of selective breeding. What we have is gravity. A lot of it compared to most places. And we have this very specific, very annoying trait where our bodies respond to heavy resistance by getting stronger. Repeatedly. Over years. We call it adaptation. Growlick looked at the weapon resting across the human's shoulders, then at the human's face. You trained, Growlick said, his voice lower now, quieter, with heavier weight than this. Since I was 16, Dex replied simply. The arena was so silent I could hear the cooling systems humming inside the broadcast booth. What happened next lasted 47 seconds. I know because I checked the recording afterward. 47 seconds of the most controlled, deliberate, almost instructional display of combat I have ever witnessed in this arena. Dex did not rage. He did not roar. He moved like someone who had done this 10,000 times before in an empty room, with no audience, and saw no reason to change simply because 80,000 beings were watching. When it ended, Growlick was on his back. Conscious, uninjured in any permanent way, but down. The throne splitter was planted in the arena floor 3 feet from his head, driven 2 inches into the reinforced stone by a single downward strike. Dex Harrow rolled his shoulders and looked up at the crowd. The 80,000 beings who had laughed when his name was announced were not laughing now. They were on their feet. Every species, every delegation, every cushioned seat in the Vel'Korum Arena, standing. The sound that rose from them was not laughter, not even applause. It was the sound of 80,000 beings simultaneously rewriting everything they thought they knew about a small, unremarkable planet at the edge of the map. I picked up my broadcast crystal. "This is Voru," I said, and my voice was embarrassingly unsteady for the Creathian Broadcasting Network. "And I have no prepared commentary for what we just witnessed. I have covered 412 events." I paused. "Make that 413. And this one was different." Down on the arena floor, Dex Harrow pulled the throne splitter from the stone, carried it back, and set it beside Growlick with deliberate respect. The crowd noticed immediately, and a second wave of sound shook the broadcast booth walls. Then he turned and walked toward the gate he had entered through. Same pace as before, hands in his pockets, looking around the stadium the way a tourist might study a moderately interesting building. I turned to Civ. Civ stared back at me. "I want to go to Earth," Civ said. "Get in line." I told him the arena had laughed at the human. The galaxy would not make that mistake again.